name's Sheila Miller. I was 14 when the flood happened. Somebody told that the night before it broke, it had been raining. It has been raining since Thursday, so that was Friday, and they said that they walked across the top of the dam and they sunk down to their ankles in mud, that the dam was that soft. But then, we had actually 3 dams, and one gave to the other and another gave to the other, and they come rushing out of the hollow.
Right.
The little town of Saunders got it worse.
Yeah.
Most of the people died in that area. My family was in the bed asleep, and I was up watching TV until the power went off about 10 after 8. And I started out the door, and there was all this screaming going on, and I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea there was a dam up there. And I stopped there, and my neighbors run across from me there, and I'm like, okay. And then I seen a house float down the creek and hit the bridge, and the water started backing up and coming over towards me. Then I went back home, and I got my family out of the house, and we ran up behind my grandmother's house up on the hill and stood there and waited while all of that went on. I don't remember much about it. I just remember one of the girls was standing there, and she was screaming for her daddy, or her daddy was across the creek. The miners come off around the hill, and they came down that way where the bridge was, and the bridge was gone, and they managed to get him a rope and get himself across the creek and everything.
Wow.
But that's all. I don't remember anything in between that.
Right. So you all made it out okay?
Yeah, we made it all right.
That's good.
Most of the people that died up there at Saunders, they were in the bed. They had no idea. Had no warning or nothing, huh? But people started coming down the road. So somebody in a truck come down the road and was honking his horn, and he's hollering, the dam's broke, get out of here, the dam's broke. And he went on down the road and I guess, tried to warn some more people. But, like I said, I had no warning, no idea, there was a dam up there. And I didn't know what my neighbors was running from, and them screaming, and I'm like, what is this? And then when I seen the one house come down, hit the bridge, and water started rolling that way, and I was like, ooh, I gotta get up and get everybody out of the bed. We were still everybody else was still in the bed except for me. And I come up through the front of the house and up the stairs, and I yelled, Mom, it's flooding. And she thought the creek was just high,
Right.
She looked out, she must have screamed because my dad said, run, children, run. And we took out through the back of the house, up there behind my grandmother's house, how we got out there. Because it moved the house was moved. It was, it had been moved like 2 or 3 houses down. We went in there and tried to salvage stuff out of it, but didn't really get to do that. So we just ran out the back door. We didn't say what. We just went, and I was leading the pack. I was the only one dressed. Everybody else was in their night clothes.
Yeah.
And we ran out and stopped long enough in my grandmother's yard for my mom to say, no, keep going. And that's what we did. We kept going.
Right.
And I know I had in my mind, I was thinking, well, how high is this water going to be, I'm thinking something like Noah's Ark or something like that.
Right.
So I'm like, oh.
It probably felt like it, though.
Well, after I got up on the hill, I was okay. I could look out and see whatever.
Yeah.
But I've seen the water wasn't getting any higher than there in my grandma's yard. So, but it came up, the water came up, and like there's an alley between our house and the neighbor's house, and it came up this way and pushed the houses down. It was like our house and the school teacher's house and my aunt's house and her neighbor. They were all down there coming up the alley when they saw me coming out, so they knew something was going on, but she didn't know what. And she told me later, she said, I had no idea what was going on. She said, I seen you getting out there in the yard like that, and she said, I knew then.
Where'd you go to school at?
Man High School.
Okay. And they sent you all to Logan for a little bit, right?
Some of them went to Logan. We didn't go.
So what happened after the fact?
Well, we were up there camped out in my grandmother's house. I think at one point there was 35 people up there. And we was, trying to, get everybody in so nobody was left outside. And then it was like people just started to get out and look around to see what had happened. And my dad had went out with, I think, one of my brothers, and they were out just looking around, and they came across this man. He was dead. And then they come across this young boy that my brother knew, and he was dead too. And after that, my dad didn't go back out and look around anymore.
Did your family get any compensation from the coal company at all?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. They finally come up the hollow and got some of us and took us over across the mountain to Van High School.
Okay.
And we stayed over there for a week or so. And at the same time, we were waiting in a line for one of the trailers that they brought in to house the families.
So what area did you live in?
I lived down there, what's called Robinette.
Okay, I got you.
We lived there, and then we bought a trailer and moved it back on our property. A lot of people did. My uncle come from Plattsburgh, New York, to find out where his family was. He wanted to know, if we were still alive, for that matter. And we were hearing the helicopters over the radio saying, they found a couple more bodies here and a couple more bodies like that. And Dr. Long flew out with some of the patients, and they ended up going to Mann Hospital. It's no longer there, but that's where they brought the people in and made a temporary morgue at the South Bend Grade School. My uncle got so far in, he got to about Becco, and he was determined to go.
Yeah, had to be.
He was, and they told him, they said, well, you better slow down or you're not going to get up there. He said, it's nothing up there, nothing. And he finally made it up there, and he's like, he wasn't kidding when he said there wasn't nothing left, because there was very little left. I mean, you could see houses piled up and train tracks twisted and turned and, stuff laying around. And, they had to go in basically with a bulldozer and make a way up through this way, Yeah. And if you had a four-wheel drive, you better be using it, because that's about all you could get up there with. They took us across the mountain to Van High School. They took us in a Jeep, and it was scary.
I bet, yeah.
We was rocking and rolling and dipping over, and I'm like,
Is it the same Cooper Harper Road that's up there now?
No. Seems like it's 97. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But they took us there, and we like I said, stayed there about a week or so. Had us a place to sleep and a place to eat, and the big thing was you would run into people that you would know. You would hope you run into your friends and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, when I went back to school finally, I'm like, I wonder how many people's going to be there. It's not there now, So.
Right.
But I really didn't have any friends in the flood I lost like that. Most of my friends, they They lived farther up the road from me there, and they got out and stuff.
So you were on the History Channel.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was Modern Marvels, Engineering Disasters.
Okay.
That's what it was called. And they interviewed me and another woman I know, and an engineer about the dam, and they talked to us asked us, what did we see, and what have you, and we took them up the road to where the dam used to be. They didn't know where it was at. Nobody did. My dad did. He took me up there like the night before and showed me where it was at so I could show them.
Yeah.
Because it was like nothing there. I know that they talked about putting another dam up there and people got upset over it.
The same company?
It's the same place, yeah. And
I
I'm like,
hadn't heard that one.
yeah, that was more gossip and stuff, more than anything, I think. I was like, well, why didn't you put another one in? The one failed in the first place, so.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do it anyway. And when we did the Modern Marvels, the man that was there, engineer, he said that they knew that they put it in there wrong. So they knew it, And he's like, it shouldn't have broke. And I'm like, if it was soft enough to walk across it the night before, I would say it was going to break, regardless.
Yeah.
Just it chose that one particular time to break.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday morning, and most people were in bed.
How long do you think it took for it to be kind of normal again?
Jeez, it was. Well, when we bought the trailer and moved it in on the property, that was somewhat normal. We come and go, and we went to school, and Dad worked and everything, and we were, okay, but they still insisted on sending us to psychiatrists over there and made us do these odd tests and stuff over there. I said, now how's that going to prove if you're crazy or not?
Did you discover anything from that, or anybody you know diagnosed with anything?
No, not that I know of. I know a lot of people said that when it rained, it made them nervous.
Yeah.
And there's one lady supposedly coming down to the school and got her kids out. It was raining, and she was insisting that they give her kids and let her go home with her kids because she said she didn't want it to flood again.
So are you good now?
Oh yeah, I still can talk with her without any problem. My best friend, she was living up on the hill when it happened. She wasn't in the flood, but she saw a lot of it going by. And she got in today. She's hoping to go to the anniversary. Mm-hmm. And I told her to give me a call and let me know. We'll sit and talk, and we'll say, well, one thing about it, we where we lived in the trailer court there, and she lived down there on the hill. We rode the bus together. We became best friends.
Yeah.
So we've been best friends for 50 years.
If you had to say something to the future generations that didn't experience the flood, like myself, I wasn't old enough, and it's hard for me to think about because I wasn't there, and it's hard for me to do stuff like this and give it justice.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for me and any of the other future generation that's curious about the accident?
Well, I know that there've been a lot of articles done on. My son told me one time, he said in Texas, one of his school books had the flood in one of them. Mm-hmm. And I said, you mean we made it the big time? And he said, yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. But they was, several people wrote books
Mhm.
about the flood. Most of those stories are how people got in and out of the flood and stuff. But I think somebody should start something like a time capsule with this, and try to gather up articles and stuff that can be, preserved for other people to come and look at, like the library, for example, and people can, look it up and see pictures and stuff. I mean, people's got hardly any pictures and stuff they lost in the flood. We had a few pictures of our house, and after we got finished up there, they bulldozed that thing down.
Yeah.
Well, they did all those houses that was damaged.
Well, again, I appreciate you talking to me.
Sure.
And I guess that's all. So thank you.
You're welcome.